Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Season 3 of the Rule 34 podcast. I'm your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co hosts,
Dominic Castillo.
Giovanni.
Alright. Had to postpone yesterday's episode to today. We are here on a Tuesday. How are the two of you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Nothing too bad. Although there are some news that have come forward today, but I'll speak on that later. How have you been, G?
What do you mean you're going to speak on it later?
Well, I don't know. I feel like it's going to take too much time. I want to let you guys introduce yourselves before I get into it.
Alright. I've been well. There's a new ambition on my list that I want to try to make a reality, I guess. I had the idea of making a new Discord server that's for people who are interested in like the editing side of K-pop. So it's basically like a space where people could talk about K-pop music videos and how they're edited together, as well as like help each other grow as editors. But yeah, I'm gonna try to get that done soon. But besides that, everything's been the same.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. As far as me, I am doing pretty well. I don't know when, but I may be going out to visit my grandma in Arizona sometime soon. It might be sometime like earlier than expected, like this week, or it might be in the weekend, like I had originally told Gio and Dom. So I'll make sure to keep you guys up to date so we know whether our regularly scheduled podcast recordings can occur. But other than that, I've been doing pretty well.
Oh, man.
Oh, God, man.
Alright.
Oh, wait, I just wanted to bring in some news.
Yes, indulge us, please.
So for the to begin, some small little things. I'm pretty sure I already told you guys this, but not too long ago, there was the Monster Jam weekend at the Crypto Arena, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was pretty cool. This is my first ever Monster Jam event I'm ever technically attending. However, there was this one point in time where, me being a runner, I have to go get food and stuff like that, and I have to go take the elevators down just to go get food. And just casually, I enter, and there's like three of the drivers of the Monster Jam peeps, and I think one of them was the main driver for the, what was it, the Gravedigger or whatever that one truck is called.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is like my first ever time kind of meeting a celebrity, because he was just there, and I'm just sitting behind him, and I think that was pretty cool. What else has occurred? Also, another bit of small, I guess pretty crazy news. Do you two know anything about the Chris Chan of what has occurred as of recently?
I've heard about that. I'm so confused how you got that from Monster Jam though.
What did he say?
No, this is a transition to a different news thing.
What's
The
it called?
Christian?
There's this guy. There's like a ton of like extensive lore behind him, basically. But like, I won't get into details. But he got arrested. I think it was like sometime last year, and then apparently like yesterday, and I think it was the day before, but I think it was mainly yesterday. People were talking about apparently he broke out or like he escaped and he's on the run right now.
Yes. So basically, he was, before he was about to put on trial in court. He has to go use the bathroom. No one looks after him, and I think like 5 minutes in, as the probation officer, whoever's looking after him, enters to check up on him, he's gone.
Yeah,
like
he dipped out of the window that was in the bathroom.
It's kind of funny if you think about it. I mean, I don't want to sound mean, but like, I mean, I guess just a warning to any out there who lives in Charlottesville, Virginia. I wish you luck, because holy shit, is he gonna? Because I think what's going on with them is because in his mindset, right? I'm not sure how to give this without context, but to him, there's like this sort of dimensional merge in his mind going on with like the Sonic universe and our human 3D universe. So he constantly like wants to escape, just so he could, I guess, meet Sonic, and you know what I mean. And so I think this is what prompted him to escape and stuff like that. So I don't think he's there mentally at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like I said, there's apparently, I don't know anything about this guy other than when Dom first brought it up to me. But like I saw, apparently there's like this series on YouTube that's literally called like a comprehensive history of this guy, and there's like, I want to say like 40 episodes or something, and it's still ongoing because this guy's like still doing stuff, and it's just like that's pretty crazy that like there's all this lore, if you want to call it, behind a single person on YouTube. I find
I
it
really
very...
dislike when people do that, to be honest. I'm guessing that this guy did some pretty heinous crimes, right?
Yeah.
So and then you just start, I don't know, making entertainment out of it. And then, I mean, what about all the victims' families and the people who have suffered because of him? They're kind of just like left in the afterthought because of all the memes and lore that people are, I don't know, becoming obsessed with. It's kind of just like, it's like the whole like Ted Bundy stuff and pretty much any like serial killer, when like women start like feeling attracted to them and then they get overly obsessed and they want to do things with them. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's sickening to see. That's just me. And then there's like the whole internet culture that has its own opinion. But
No, I definitely agree
anywho,
with you because I don't know. People, I mean, as the internet has grown, we've just seen more and more people get like obsessed with how would you put it? I guess like trying to be like internet famous. Because how many times do we see people, like especially like on social media, making videos, posting videos of like situations where you're just like, why the heck are you even posting that? Or like, why was like your first thought to like record rather than do something, like when like those cases where it's like someone needs help and instead of getting them help they're recording, and it's like, why is your first instinct to record rather than to be a an actual human being and provide help to that person or to that
do you remember?
situation?
I don't know, it's kind of like a tangent. But do you remember that one video? I forgot who. I think it was on the Twitter GC of like these teenagers who got like into like a horrific car accident, and like one of them in the back was, I mean, do you remember that video? Like, I don't want to get too much into detail because
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was they got into a car crash, and I think the guy in the back seat was the only one that like survived.
yeah,
Is that the one you're referring to? Yeah.
and then like the guy recording it, instead of, I don't know what was going through his head, but he just starts giving us commentary on what he's seeing, and like to the point where he's like mocking the people in the accident. And I don't know, I found that kind of disturbing because it's one thing to be like on the internet and talking badly about something like that or making fun of something like that, but when you're like in person doing it while people are in front of you suffering or dead, it's just like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. I think the biggest recent case we saw of something like this, I don't know if you guys have kept up with it, but it was something that I only kind of kept up with because it was it's tied into the sports world. Because you know me, I don't really pay much attention to like world news and stuff like that. But Kobe Bryant's wife finally reached or I don't know if it was a settlement, but because I don't want to use that
No,
word.
she won the case.
Yeah, there we go. She won her case against I think it was it like I don't know if it was a police officer or something. I forget what the guy's like job was, but like apparently she won her case for suing this guy who apparently took pictures at at the crash scene of Kobe Bryant, their daughter, and you know the other people that were in that helicopter. You know that tragic incident 2 years ago now. You know, some guy, some sicko, decided to take pictures, and it got even worse when they released like the autopsy of the incident, and like I haven't read into it, but people like said like it was pretty like gruesome report, which is to be expected from a helicopter crash, but people like
Mm-hmm.
showed like the reports of it, and like basically to give an image of what that incident looked like, and people were like, imagine this being the scene you're staring at, and your first instinct in mind is to take pictures, and then later on, brag about it, like, oh yeah, look, here are the pictures of these people at their death scene, basically, and it's like, who in their right mind thinks that's a flex, or think that's something that is like you should be proud to show off. It's like similar
Yeah.
to the thing you brought up. It's like it's such a lack of human compassion and just overall common sense. Like
Yeah, and the thing that's like, I mean, this is pretty like everyone. It's evident everywhere. It's just like people, what's the word? Like condone that behavior instead of being against it, and it's just kind of like we should do better as a people, I guess.
yeah, that was a pretty crazy situation that I saw unfold. But I say we move on to lighter topics. Uh, our topic of today was proposed by Gio, and it was just I forgot how it came up, but we were like talking. We were like, that would be a good thing to kind of discuss, especially because it can lead to some pretty hot takes in a sense about things that we just felt. Sorry, things that we just felt didn't live up to the hype. Like things that were pretty hyped up, and whether it was like a movie, a game, whatever it was that came out, and the moment you got to see it, play it, whatever, you just felt it didn't live up to the hype whatsoever. Uh, Starting off, I don't know which of you two want to go first, but what was something you guys thought just completely didn't live up to the hype?
Since I proposed the idea, I think I should go first.
All right.
The one thing, I think, like the main thing that made me come up with this idea was Stranger Things. I watched all of it. Like I didn't stop because I didn't like. I watched from season 1, episode 1, season 4, episode 10, I think, or whatever. Dude, it's like the first season was good because it was like an interesting idea. You have these kids, and then there's like these weird alien creatures from a different dimension that's basically the same, but as the one that we have, just a little bit different. And then you get to the second season, and it's basically the same thing as season 1, just a little bit different. And you get to the third season, which is the same thing as season 2 and 1, just a little bit different. And then you get to season 4, which honestly shouldn't have existed. Because if you look at the story, it's so bad. It's so boring. They dragged it out for so long. And then I see people on Twitter, they did a poll. What was it? They were comparing like two shows. It was Stranger Things versus, I think it was Squid Game, right? So the entirety of Stranger Things versus season 1 of Squid Game. And people were picking Stranger Things, and then I was just thinking to myself, how could you say something like that when it died, it killed itself basically throughout each season. And then everybody knows Squid Game. There's a lot of memes from Squid Game, and Squid Game only has one season, and it's better than all 4 seasons of Stranger Things. So that's like the main thing that made me, I don't know, I just like everybody was hyping it up. People were crying on Twitter when people died, and then I watched the entire thing, and I was cool. It was cool at first, but then at the end, I was just kind of like, I really regret watching all of it.
That's a pretty hot take, but I only say that's a pretty hot take because I know, like, basically what you're saying. I know how much the internet adores Stranger Things. I actually have never watched a single episode of Stranger Things. The only scene I've ever seen from Stranger Things is the one from this past season with one of the characters playing a guitar. That's all. That's all I
Yeah,
know
dude,
about Stranger Things.
I love that character. I forgot. I think his name was like Eddie or something.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that character so much. But that part was the cringiest thing I've seen on television or on in 2022. It's literally the cringiest thing I've ever seen this year.
Well, what about you? Have you seen Stranger Things?
I have not. No. I only know this. I only watched a couple of episodes back when I watched them with Wilbert. I remember that, and I'm I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of interested, but afterwards, seeing what's going on with the current episodes, I just I don't think I'm gonna catch up nor enjoy it per se.
I get you. I get you. Well,
And it's not like I'm being like I'm hating just to hating. Like you guys know that. Oh, like I know, like all three of us, we're not the type of people to hate on something just because other people like it. Because like I generally think it's not good as people make it out to be. What about you, Jack?
Well,
What's something that?
I was gonna turn it to Dom because I'm pretty sure that Dom has a lot more that might be controversial in the sense that I want to hear.
Oof. I have a good list of stuff over here. I guess I could begin with like video games and stuff like that. I have Rainbow Six. Back when that was when the release date came out and the trailers came out, it was meant to be like this sort of like tactical gameplay. But looking at the gameplay then to looking at the gameplay now, I just feel like it's just horrible. It's gone out of control. The meta and like it's not even a tactical game anymore. Like Rainbow Six has just become this game where it's not about being tactical, but just more about I guess running and gunning at this point. What else I got here? I have Cyberpunk 2077. That was a huge flop way back when CD Projekt Red back in like 2012, 2013 spotted this game to be like one of the biggest games to ever come out, and trying to be as consumer friendly as possible. But it was not until back in 2020 when the game did finally release, it was bad. It was really bad. My apologies for my words, but it was just bad to the point where CD Projekt Red like lost 75% of their like stocks. That's like people's money. That's people's like employment just going down the drain because it was just that bad. What else I have here? I also have the Ghost Recon games, the Tom Clancy games. No one even knows what those games even are at the end of the day. They just died off. No one knows what they were.
Dude,
have you guys even played the Ghost Recon games?
What I will say, not Ghost Recon, but like the older. Do you remember? Oh, you guys probably didn't play, but like back when the PSP was a thing, they had there was a Tom like the Splinter Cell.
Oh yeah.
Dude, that game slapped. Dude, I would spend hours on that game. Like it's always like the early versions of like a series that are like the bangers, and then when they try to just keep going with it, it's like it dies out.
Agreed. What else we have here? The GTA Trilogy, the remaster with Grand Theft Auto Vice City, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City. No, it was Liberty City. Yeah, Liberty City, and San Andreas. Oof. Many people hated it. It was buggy. It looked horrible. People like tried to make recreations, like one-man recreations of like the three games to make it even better than what Rockstar could have done. And holy crap, yeah, it was pretty. That game in and of itself, and you have to pay I think for $40 for the three games. Yeah, sure, you get three games, but it's at the end of the day just a remaster that doesn't. It's not a remake. It's just a remaster that doesn't do much. What else I have here? I also have Watch Dogs 3, and like the fact that the game ended its course of service less than a year after its release, basically meaning that Ubisoft, who made the game, gave up on it because sales weren't doing good. And mind you, this is a AAA game, so imagine like a whole AAA developer team just giving up on their AAA game less than a year after going in, with like their live service and stuff like that. And I think that
Battlefield 2042.
Oh yeah, Battlefield 2042 also really horrible, coming in with a lot of bugs. I think for the entirety of like 4 to 5 to maybe even 6 months, they didn't have a leaderboard. And so anytime, people tried to make like leaderboard events or like charity events to, with the leaderboards, they had to make their own custom leaderboards just so they could, I guess fix the problems DICE had and EA, and it was horrible. And I think barely as of I think last week they began rolling out battle passes. Like this late into the game, they're barely rolling out battle pass. I just don't think it's a good idea at this point in time, since I don't think people are going to be buying the game, or not only that, just paying for a game that's just its fan base just died off. What else I got here? In terms of, aside from games, I also have some other things here. What was it? In terms of like TV shows, what did you guys think of the Patrick Star show, the spin-off show from SpongeBob? I think that flopped hard because I don't think many people enjoyed it as much as some would, as compared to SpongeBob.
I've never watched it, but I think like the signal of that it didn't do as well as the fact that you look at SpongeBob, and even to the current episodes, even though not as many people are watching, they still find new memes and new episodes. I didn't see any anything come out of it. I didn't even see any discourse come out about that show.
I agree. I think it's not good. What else I have here? I think Storyfire. Do you guys even know what Storyfire is, by any chance?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so basically what Storyfire is, it was an application made by McJuggernuggets, a YouTuber who made this sort of Psycho series where his dad breaks his PlayStation and his Xboxes with a lawnmower or stuff like that. But basically he tried to create a sort of YouTube competitor. Saying, this is going to be bigger than YouTube. We're going to have the biggest creators. We're going to have no ads, but we're still going to pay the creators a bunch of money. And the funny thing is that he invited all of these creators, huge names. But they only uploaded a couple of videos on it, and then the only videos that were left, still being uploaded, I think as to this day, or actually not as to this day, but it was just McJuggernuggets, the creator of the application, who was the only one who was making content for the entire application, to the point where I think it was closed down, I think last year, it was around last year, or around 2 years ago, I think, where the whole app just crashed. No one was using it. He was spending money on the servers that nobody was even on, and this sort of dream, to overcome YouTube, it just died off. And I kind of feel bad because, people want to, I guess, overcome the giant in terms of a David versus Goliath type beat, but I don't think anyone's going to defeat YouTube.
Well,
same thing with Vimeo. For those who don't know, Vimeo is also a YouTube, not a YouTube, a video sharing service. However, that also died off really quickly because people thought Vimeo was going to become the next big YouTube, video giant, but that never ended up happening.
I mean, to get into that argument just real quickly, I think the only reason it's always going to be so difficult to top YouTube or even Twitch is their backing. YouTube's backed by Google, Twitch is backed by Amazon. You're not taking down those two when they're backed by two of the biggest companies in the world,
True.
And I feel even if they have these God sent, what's it called? It's not privileges. What's the other thing? Benefits. If they have these God sent benefits for the creators that, I don't know, would want to switch to that. Even if they have that, it's everyone's so used to YouTube. No one, literally, no one's going to go from having all of their stuff on YouTube to having to make something completely new and not have all of the creators that they want on it. But you might as well just stay on YouTube because all the content that you want is on YouTube instead of going to this new platform that's still in development, and the content is very limited. Like, what's the point? Why would you switch? And it's different with like live streaming apps because the content is produced live. You don't have to wait for it. Because imagine going from YouTube where you have like years of content to watch from a creator that you found, but then going to the new app and they only have 2 videos up, and there's only like maybe 20 creators on it that you don't know. You only know like 2 of them, and they only have 2 videos there. Like, I don't know. It's like it's such a commitment to switch to a new app for the creator and the viewer, and it's just like, I don't know. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, and,
Exactly.
you know, I think I'd even say it's impossible for like especially YouTube to ever be topped, because I mean, dude, they're untouchable at this point. Look at right now how many YouTubers and all that, like content creators, are calling them out, and it's not like they're gonna see any change. It's not to put their efforts down, you know. Hell, call out YouTube if you want on their BS, because you know people need to be held accountable for, you know, their stuff. But like, it's not proving, or it's not that it's not proving that it's gonna change, because they could see change. But like, you know, it's not like, you know, when we're talking about it, like in the scheme of what we're talking about now, it's not like out of nowhere some new app is going to rise that's going to overtake YouTube and all these big creators are going to leave for it. It's like, look at Twitch. Almost all their big creators are leaving for YouTube to stream anyways, and it's like Twitch is still Twitch. It still makes the money that it does, and it still has some of its biggest streamers on there. So it's like it almost in a sense sucks that they've gotten to this point, because it's like you're never going to see any true change out of it because they know they're untouchable in a way.
I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I really hate the whole, like, the big streamers going from Twitch to YouTube just because of, like, contract issues or whatever. Dude, because I don't know, like, have you guys actually, like, watched streams on YouTube?
I have not. I've
No,
watched
not
a
really.
couple.
No?
I've watched a
Dude,
couple.
like, it's literally going, like, Twitch is such, like, an iconic streaming platform that, like, everything about it is nice. You have, like, the overlays with the chat. You have chat on the side, even if they don't have overlay. You have, like, everything is just, it fits perfectly. And then you're forced to go to YouTube or to switch over to YouTube because the streamer that you love is going to YouTube because of some contract issues. And then you're just stuck with this mediocre overlay from YouTube streaming, and it just looks so pathetic in comparison to Twitch. Dude, that's one thing. Dude, I'm gonna add that to my list. That's YouTube streaming is overhyped, or it's like it is not living up to the hype. Because when Tim the Tap Man, I love that dude, but I stopped watching him because he went to YouTube. I hate it. It's so, I don't know. Like, you guys go like next time you're on YouTube and you see like a streamer is streaming or whatever, go into the stream and see what I'm talking about, because it's literally like the most mediocre thing you will ever see in your whole life, dude. It's like, it's so bad. Like, Twitch, like, why would they do that? Like, I mean, like, I know Twitch is a business, and I know creators sometimes get greedy where they would just want a little bit more, and then Twitch is kind of like stubborn, or like the creator is stubborn. But like, you build your everything on Twitch, and like, you have your own brand image where you could make money off of. Why would you switch just to earn a little bit more? Like, you're already earning millions of dollars just from playing video games. Why would you need more? I don't understand.
Yeah, and it's even worse when you look at it, the fact that like YouTube doesn't even have like its own dedicated section to streaming, you know? So it's like you can't even, like, there's no, the discoverability on YouTube is worse, because it's like you can't check who's live. Like, you already have to be following the person to know they're going live, you know? Yeah. And even then, you don't even get the notification as far as I'm concerned. Like, I've always turned all YouTube notifications off, because YouTube's notification system is like really annoying when it comes to it. Like, sometimes it'll notify, oh yeah, they uploaded a video, and other times it's like you don't get anything at all, and next thing you know, you've missed like 5 videos from your content creator that you watch because YouTube's notification system is broken.
I feel like it only starts notifying you after you stop watching that person's videos.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, like their whole streaming overlay is pretty bad as a whole too. Like it just doesn't look right, and you would think, oh, maybe invest in it, if you're gonna be poaching all of Twitch's like biggest ones. But it's like, dude, they have a dedicated section for shorts, but not for streaming. You know, it's like I don't even want to say make like a separate app for it, but like I almost feel like a separate app would benefit it if you're able to like fix the overlay system and all that and make it like an easier transition in a way of like for like the creators moving over from Twitch or like the viewers actually, because like the viewers are the ones that are gonna struggle the most at looking at it and be like, yeah, this doesn't look right.
Yeah, because the streamer's looking at what he's playing or what he's doing. Everybody else is looking at this awful overlay.
Yeah. If I can quickly throw in something, this is definitely maybe a hot take in a way, and I don't know if I would necessarily overhype, but maybe it would be like overrated, or like, let's put it this way, because it's not about things being overhyped; it's about things that didn't live up to the hype. Well, I know that's technically overhyped, but so in my personal opinion, though I really love all these games, in my personal opinion, after BioShock 1, the rest of the series did not live up to the hype that the first game had, in my opinion, when playing through it. BioShock 2 was one of the slowest, clunky, if I want to say, type games, and that obviously makes sense because you're playing in the suit of one of the big daddies, but like, it literally was one of the most tedious experiences I've ever had playing a game because there was just so much to it that was just so annoying. The movement was slow. The animations were slow at times. Honestly, things felt more I don't know how to like really like my experience playing BioShock 2 was probably the worst out of the 3 games I played because it was like it was such a slow movement system. I was constantly running out of ammo, and at the same time, I wasn't getting enough money to get more ammo and upgrades and all that. The fights felt like they didn't feel as good or smooth as BioShock 1. And then BioShock 3, it had, if you want to say better graphics, it had a cool story to it, but it wasn't as memorable to me as BioShock 1. And like, I don't know. I like that trilogy. I love that series. I think there's rumors that they're coming out with a fourth one, and I'm obviously gonna play it. But like, I think it's just because BioShock 1 was such like a lightning in a bottle thing for me, where it was like I literally remember my first time like fully playing through it, and it's like, to me, that's the greatest game of all time to me that I've ever played is BioShock 1. Like, that story, the way it progressed, like everything progressed so smoothly in the game. It never felt like things were too slow or too fast. It had its combat mechanics were, top tier. Its visuals were on par with everything or with any other game that I've played. And it's just like it almost hurts me and upsets me in a way that BioShock 2 was like I didn't like it as much as I did, and I don't want to say it's outright bad, but like people, it's consensus almost at this point that it's the worst of the 3, but people still like talk about it in high regard when in turn like I just don't think it's as good as BioShock 1 or even 3. And like I don't know, man, though that's a series that really like it hit its peak at the start and then struggled to like stay on that level. I don't know if you guys have played the BioShock games, but that's just how I feel about that trilogy. Like, BioShock 1 was their peak.
Because for like the last 3 weeks, I've been looking at the whole... Because Epic Games, they do this thing every once in a while where they give away a trilogy of games for free. And they gave away BioShock like a few months ago. And like for like the recent weeks, I've just been looking at it like, should I play it? And I really wish I had now. Because we probably could have like a discussion about it. But...
BioShock.
I don't know. Going into if I play them now, it's gonna be kind of like, let's see if Jack is right.
Well, obviously everyone's gonna have a different opinion, but I'm telling you, for me, I've played a lot of games in my life, and truly, I still believe that BioShock 1 is the greatest one I've ever played because everything everything about it is beautiful. The visuals, the combat, and all that. Everything runs smoothly, and the overall story is what gets me every time. Like that is probably one of the greatest stories I've ever seen told, and it was told so perfectly at a perfect pace. Like there's a plot twist in that game that is still to this day the greatest plot twist I've ever seen in all of gaming, movies, books. Nothing has topped it for me. I love BioShock 1. What is another thing I think didn't live up to the hype? Oh, actually no. I can't get into this one. I can't get into this one. Oh gosh, I thought of something and I thought about having something to say, but I was like, then I think about it, I'm like, oh no, there's too many people that are gonna come after me if I say it.
Come on, you have to. Do it for the podcast, man. Tell us what you want to say.
You know, this might be our like, if it's for the podcast, let's do it. It's a good thing my dad has headphones on right now, even though I know he'll listen to this episode later. If I am being 100% honest, Your Lie in April did not live up to the hype that people gave to me.
Dude, I'm right behind you on that, dude. I'm right behind you.
I was told I was going to be in tears the entire time, that by the end of it I was going to feel empty. I did not cry a single time watching that anime in comparison to other animes I've watched that have gotten me to cry. I didn't even come close to shedding a tear. I didn't even feel like the only time, like, dude, I felt more angry watching that show than sadness. Because it was like, dude, why are you trying to force this poor kid? Like, I get it by the end goal, the end goal was to get him back into what he loved. But, like, you hear his story and you're like, dude, this guy got abused by his mom just because he wouldn't play the way she wanted him to. And it's like, and then you have everyone trying to force him back into it. And it's like, why are you trying to force him back into the thing that caused him such trauma? And everyone's being such a terrible person to him. Like, they're trying to force him. It's like, you guys are all being terrible friends to this guy. Why would you force him into something that literally sends him, like, into shock and panic, and all that? And then it's like, I don't know, like, I watched the show and I honestly can't remember anything other than, like, the first few episodes at the beginning and the final ending. Like, I don't remember a lot of what was in between. It just didn't live up to the hype for me, even though I know my dad loves that series so much, and like I've heard about it from like online and other people. It's just, I don't know what it was about it in comparison to other animes I've seen, but it didn't live up to the hype, at least that people gave me. Like, and they raised, I think that was the issue. They raised my expectations before going into it, and it just didn't meet them for me.
But I feel like every time you mention that anime, every time you mention it in whatever discussion that you're having about anime and people bring it up, everyone just starts moaning, oh my god, it was so sad, it made me cry, the story is so good. And then I'm just sitting there like, I don't know about that. Like I really, you really want to start arguing with people over it, but then it just kind of feels like, oh no, it's my opinion only, there's really no need.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. Because everyone I talk to, they talk about it with such acclaim, and I'm just like, I wish. Like, this ties into another topic that we talked about. That kind of ties into this of like the whole, what's something that other people, are into that you just couldn't get into. And so it's like, I wish I could like and be into the anime as much as other people do when they talk about it, But every time, like even like on rewatch, like I tried to give a couple episodes like rewatches and stuff. And I'm just like, it's not bad, but it's just like, it wasn't what people hyped it up to be. And like, there's obviously it has, it's like a lot of good scenes in it, obviously, but like, I don't know, man. Like I did like some of the scenes, like I thought it was I think one of like the most emotional scenes, because I remember, I think I even drew it once, was like, his mom beats him with a cane for, playing his own style rather than sticking to, like, the actual music and all that. And then, like, I think he said something like, I think he actually dead ass told his mom, "I wish he would die," and then like the next, like typical anime logic, I think it was like the next day she died or something like that. But like that was like that was like a pretty emotional scene. But and then there was also another scene where he's staring at the girl in the hospital and he gets like a flashback to his mom sitting in the hospital, and I thought like that was a pretty cool scene too. But like I don't know, man. I just remember seeing the ending, and I didn't cry a single time, and I was just like, well, I don't know how to feel about this because it's almost like it's not a good ending or a happy ending, but it's also not an ending that you're like, okay, I'm like that's an ending I'm happy with, you know. Like it just left so much up in the air for like I don't know. I don't know that anime. I wish I could understand what people like so much about it.
I feel like I would have enjoyed it more if people didn't overhype it. Because, like, when you, like, at face value, it's a good anime, but it's not, like, it's the greatest thing ever. And that's what, like, people made it out to be, for me. But when I watched it, I was like, because that's what happens to me. When people, like, start overhyping something for me, I start hating it, right? I, like, start disliking it. So when, like, people were, like, when I was talking to people about it, and they were saying, "Oh, dude, you're going to cry. It's literally like the best story ever. Like you're gonna love the characters." And then by the time I reached episode 1, I was kind of like trying to find all the faults in it. Then I couldn't even enjoy it for what it was.
No, I feel you on that. And then, real quickly, with 2 minutes and 50 seconds left, the final one I want to throw out there, the most controversial take I've ever seen. J. Cole is overhyped. That is how I want to finish this episode.
Loki, I have one too. Game of Thrones is not as good as people made it out to be either.
Yeah.
I know Twitter loves Game of Thrones, but holy freak is that thing boring, dude. The entire second season of Game of Thrones is literally just people talking to each other and no one dies. And I'm waiting for people to die and no one's dying. And when someone actually dies, it's people you don't care about. And then when you try talking about it with people, they're like, "Oh no, but this character is so important to the story, and her death means so much." And I'm just like, I never cared for her, dude. Like, kill the king, kill someone else, kill the dragon, have a dragon kill someone, to have something happen for the plot of the story that actually makes me excited for the next season. And then they kill the mom, and I'm just like, cool. I don't care for her or the entire family. Can we have some actual plot thickening, some like an actual plot twist? And then people are like, "Oh, just wait for the next season." I'm like, what about this season? I'm talking about this season, not the next season. And then like I don't know, like literally I could do an entire episode on that. Holy.
Yeah, I think J. Cole's music is boring. That's just my thing. Even though I love lyricists and all that, I don't know. I've just never been interested in his music. Dom, with a minute 20 left, throw out your biggest hot take about what's overhyped or overrated.
Oof. Well, what's overrated? I think Stranger Things is not a good show. Umbrella Academy, not a good show. What's K-pop?
Hey,
That's fighting words. That's fighting words.
Hey, I know where you live.
That's true, yeah.
I'm just playing.
I love K-pop. K-pop is a good show.
Stand twice.
Stand twice. Stream between 1 and 2. And with that being said, I want to thank you all for joining us for another episode of Season 3 of the Rule 34 podcast. I've been your host, Jack, joined by my fellow co-hosts,
Dominic Castillo.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Well, thank you all for joining us for this episode. And as always, if it exists, we have an opinion on it. Thank you, and we'll catch you on the next episode.